This is Flosstube number 5. I'm Fawn.
I'm Marianne.
And this is Sanctum Stitching. And once again, we are just so excited to be back with you. I feel like we really jumped over the hurdle of a brand new Flosstuber now that we got to 5 episodes. So we're getting fancy. We're carrying on. We're consistent. And yeah, just so excited. I wanted to make one note in the beginning that our videos will be posted on Sunday or Monday. If I have a really busy Sunday, they'll go up Monday. And if I have a relaxed, like stitchy Sunday, then they'll go up that day. But you should look for us around Sunday, Monday time frame. Did you have any notes for the beginning?
No, don't think so. Not that I can think of.
So let's
discuss that.
I realized with Mania that I like it in the beginning. I like having a little bit of structure where I'm just sort of working on one thing and then I'm switching to another thing. I'm just doing a new start. And in the beginning, when you have all your new starts and everything lined up, that sounds really exciting and it feels good. And then you get halfway through the month and you don't like the structure anymore. And so I feel like now I am to the point where I want to work on what I want to work on, when I want to do it. And I don't want to wait until Friday to start something new, or I don't want to feel like I have to work on this one work in progress and wait until Friday to switch it out. And so I think my Mania might kind of be ending, at least the way that I originally intended to go about it. And so it's, at least for me, I think it's going to be more of, this is what felt good, this is what I wanted to work on, this is what I stitched. And I think I'll be able to have more fun with it without that May restriction. Is your Mania going well?
Well, yeah, there's always Mania around here. You know, we don't have to specifically say May. But yeah, so far I got the flamingo done, so I can show that in our finishes or whatever, whenever you want to do that. I worked on the other things, you know, my work's in progress. I've been doing them. There's a new one I want to start. And I got a big haul, you know, but mine's been more just kind of doing some works in progress and not starting. I did start the one new thing, the one for Lane. But I'm like you, I kind of get interested in doing one thing and, oh yeah, I really want to work on this. I'm not so much structured so much anymore. Retirement has a funny reaction. What, do that? You tell somebody, tell you, let's do this or that. My husband says I tell him what to do all the time, but that's a different matter. The whole point of stitching is to relax and enjoy what you're doing. And I noticed Pam and Steph, just keep stitching, had kind of said, this is my Mania's done. Kind of Pam flakes out. I shouldn't use that word, but Pam says I'm done sooner than Stephanie does, because then she wanted to do something special for Memorial Day.
Right.
So I think I've noticed that not as many people are stitching quite as much during this Stitch Mania, at least the things that I've noticed on Facebook and such. I think people are enjoying it, and especially with this COVID-19 going on as well, they're just enjoying stitching and letting that. So that's kind of how I've been.
Yeah, and I think I think a lot of people have big stashes, but a lot of people also aren't shopping. So they're having to go into their stash, and so then they might not have too much. And so then one project just sounds really good to them. And I totally get that, because I have so many things that I think I could just work on for a full month and not think twice about it. But I say that now after 2 or 3 weeks of Mania, and I just want to work on what I want to work on. So who really knows? Yeah,
don't give yourself the written down thing. Just do your thing, kiddo. That's what works best. Yeah.
So I have a new start, which was really exciting for me. So I am working on a Cloudsfactory project. Of course, that's what I love to go work on. So this is Through the Stars Zodiac Sampler. So this is what it'll look like.
Oh, wow.
And so it's a stitch along. I think it was the 2018 or the 2017 Cloudsfactory stitch along. And I think what I want to do at the very end is make it into a big pillow. And so I think that'll be really fun.
Yeah.
But I tried to work on this and I worked for probably 45 minutes, and my first 10 stitches I had to take out because the fabric is so dark, and I've never really stitched on dark fabric, and I miscounted everywhere. And so our beautiful friend Maria, she gave me a magnifying glass, and I still can't see with this dark fabric.
Okay, so put something white under it. You have a white pillowcase?
I could put a white blanket and put that on my lap.
Get a light. You
Okay.
know, a lot of people will sometimes use those. You know, you could turn if you have, you know, you and I've talked about getting a light, not just your one that's on the floor, but maybe having one of those little clip-on lights that will light up that fabric as well. But if you can get a light going under it and coming up through it, that's where people have told me sometimes just set a white towel in your lap or a table, something that's white in your lap, and try stitching over it.
Oh, you know, so I have the back of this paper right down here on the chair. So I stand my iPad up when we're doing this on a chair on a vet book and a board game and my fabric box, and then I have 2 books behind it. So I have a little chair, and so I have this paper that I just showed with the sampler on here, and I just put the fabric down and I can already see through it. So, oh my gosh, 45 minutes of ripping out stitches, my first stitch, and there we go.
That should help you. I hope that will help. Yeah, don't stitch through the paper foam.
Have to go back and rip all the paper bits out. That'd be horrible.
Right.
So, of course, I didn't bring in the paper that says exactly what this fabric is, but I believe it's Picture This Plus Gothic. And I know it's the called for fabric. I want to say it's 32 count, but it might be 28. It's whatever the pattern calls for, because I bought the whole kit from Cloudsfactory. So you can see it's so, I could see myself through it. It's so pretty, and all of this sort of variegation of the light and the dark. It's gonna be the most beautiful pillow, but stitching on it before Marianne told me that trick I was so worried I wasn't gonna be able to do it. It was gonna take me forever. So hopefully if I work on this more this week, next week I'll have a whole bunch done. So as you can see, I only got stitches.
Yeah. I see you.
Isn't that crazy? Like, hello. Maybe let's see how this.
You could even try sitting in front of your window or something and see if the light comes through the back for you or something like that.
Yeah, and I also was stitching this at like 10 o'clock at night, so I'm sure.
Don't do that. Don't do that. That's like my sister asked me to knit her a scarf, and she wanted black. I was hoping for maybe white with red or something. No, I want black. I hate knitting with black because it's hard to see all the stitches. So same sort of thing. Yeah. I've told her I'm never making her another black scarf. She better enjoy that one.
Yeah, so this will have to be a daytime project. I'm so happy with the fabric. I think it'll look amazing once it's done. The colors are all really bright. And I mean, I'm not really into astrology and zodiac signs all that much, but just looking at that pattern, I was like, that looks like a fun thing to stitch with all the little people for each of the signs. They look cutesy, and like at the bottom, there's a little crab.
Oh yeah.
And so I probably should have held this up closer to begin with.
Well, now remind me, I'm a Capricorn. What are you now?
I'm a Libra.
Oh, okay. Well, we can get along.
So I know that I'm this one.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not sure which one you are on here.
Well, the Capricorn's usually a goat, and it's this one over here. Oh, I'm pointing at it. It's the one on the opposite side. Down one. There you go.
Nice.
Capricorn's usually a goat and a man or something like that. A fish, a goat and a fish combination.
Well, you gotta go.
Yeah, we climb, we keep going, we keep climbing.
Yeah.
So, yes.
So that is currently my only work in progress and my new start because I finished.
Unicorn. What happened with unicorn? The unicorn one.
Yeah, so that one I didn't stitch on this week. So because I wasn't allowed to work on it.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry, I forgot about
it. Gamora. But now that I sort of like threw Mania to the side, we'll see what comes out.
Oh, okay, that's right. I forgot that was supposed to be a different week. This old lady better be quiet, huh? The vintage is forgetting here, so.
Well, there you go.
There you go. What can I say?
So do you have any, you said you had some works in progress, right?
Yes, here is the one that I showed y'all last week that all it had pretty much was the pants and I think the shoes. So I've made progress on that.
Yeah, you made a lot.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this is supposed to be a salmon color. It looks a little more pink than salmon to me, but salmon can be pink, you know. But so I've got to do 30 something rows of this. So it's real easy to sit even at 2 in.the morning, you know, watching Alfred Hitchcock at 1 in.the morning. I can get that done. So I did have that. I worked on the, I've gotten just a little bit more on the female cardinal on the needle point that I was working on, but it's not enough to really show off too much. I may start and go into some of the greens. So that's my 2 works in progress. I still need to do a handkerchief for my sister. We have that thing in our Needle Arts Guild of where we're doing monograms, and we're supposed to have them done by June. And so I've got this little handkerchief that's got this tiny little space in it where a little monogram would go nicely. So I need to sit down and do that maybe this week. I guess it'll have to be this week. So that's what I've got that way.
I have not started the monogram challenge either. We went to Michael's for Joann's for some DMC floss, and then we ended up over at Hobby Lobby because Joann's didn't have what we needed or all of what we needed. And so I these little tiny wooden hoops that you just sort of press your fabric into, and you can paint the hoops or whatever, but some of them, they're like this big. And so I'm thinking I'm just going to put a little in this tiny thing and call it done.
Oh, that's cute. And you could use it like a key fob or something, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Or a not a key fob, but a scissor fob for your needlework scissors.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to cheat out a little bit, and I'm going to do something super, super small just so I can participate. But I don't really feel like stitching a whole monogram of.
You don't have to. Yeah.
It's not really my thing personally.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I had one done, and Joe said, that looks stupid. I said, yeah, that's what I was thinking too. So I took it all out. So he said, I don't think that looks good. He's quite the critiquer here. He's my one that, he's my one that can help me determine if it's good or not.
Yeah, Sean will tell you everything looks wonderful and get whatever you want, like do whatever you want. It's perfect. It's perfect. And you're like, is it really? And he's like, oh yeah.
Joe does tell me go get what you want. He figures if it'll keep me quiet, that'll help.
Did you have a new start this week?
No, but I'll show you what I do want to start. I'm trying to keep everything next to me and not make too much noise, I promise. I want to go on and start this. I thought I would start it this week, that Honeybee Hill.
Oh, I love that.
That I showed y'all once before. It's getting really, I never considered myself to be allergic to things, but this time of year I begin to sense the allergy. And then I had shown y'all the fabric before where I had, gotten it ready to go. I'll probably have to press it again, but I'm going to try and put it in the biggest hoop I can. And And I say I've got a smaller piece too, so I can use that for something else. But yeah, I'd like to start that this week. So just give me one more. Huh?
What's the name of the pattern again?
The pattern is Honeybee Hill by Blackbird Designs.
Okay, hold it down just a little.
Oh, I'm sorry. There,
oh, perfect. Yeah, I love that beehive.
Yeah, and I want to put it, I showed y'all one time the the box that I've already bought for it. And I have a tendency, I've noticed, this is a lighter linen than what some of my other Blackbird designs have been on. But this one's really on a lighter linen than what I chose. So I'm hoping everything will show up okay.
It might make the colors look more rich too, to be on a bit dark.
I think that's kind of what happened with my garden fair thing that I did, which I don't think I've shown that to y'all yet. So
it doesn't sound familiar.
Yeah, I'll save that for next week. That's one of my finishes. That's one of the finishes. So yeah, and this is a Weeks brand, like you've got the Weeks dyed floss. This is Weeks Parchment is the color, and it's 30 count.
Okay.
So we shall see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that.
I am too. And pretty much I've got all my other stuff spread out up here too, so I'm not going to be bending over too much. Just that one.
So what do you have left? Finishes and haul? Is that right?
Yeah, and vintage, the vintage thing, and that's it. Yeah. So you want
to how about I show my finishes?
All right, sounds good.
So I do, which it seems crazy to finish 2 things in 1 week, but oh man, I was excited.
Oh, remember Karen got 3 things done.
In 1 day.
Yeah. And we said, okay.
Right.
We were proud of
one stitch left in each.
Yeah.
So this is a petite project. It's an elegant holiday tree. And so petite projects are something that you can get when you're an EGA member. And so this was a skill level for a beginner canvas work. So I believe this was actually the first canvas piece I ever started. Karen, who we just talked about, she led a little course, and you were there, Marianne, right?
I was. It was also a refresher because it had some other stitches that I haven't done doing needlepoint. If you like, I can go get mine too and show it, but this is your show here on this one. So I've got mine finished off. We'll save it for another time.
Why don't we save it till I finish mine?
That sounds good, and we can show how we got them finished.
Yeah.
I'm trying to butt in, I promise.
Yeah, and so that was really fun for us because I think we did the mini class with Karen because we were stitched the sunflower over the summer or in October, whenever it was the time frame.
Sunflower was in October. This was done in the summer. Yeah.
And then the sunflower I showed a couple weeks ago, and so that was the one that I'm referring to. So this I was supposed to finish way before the sunflower even started, and for this week I didn't have a stand, so spoiler alert, I got a stitching stand. And now that I have a stand, I'm just like busting through everything, and especially for canvas work, we have to lay the thread really well. Having a stand just made this project go super fast. And so here is my finish. I almost dropped it.
Oh, no.
Let me see. There we go.
Yeah, bring it up. There you go. There you go. That shows it nicely. Very good, kiddo. Back it up a little bit. There you go. Now you got the whole tree in there.
Yeah,
you did a nice job.
You can see that the fabric has a little bit of gold in it, and so everything about this just has a sparkle. And so I think it's Krynic at the bottom, so there's sparkle there, which was different to use. There's Krynic all through wherever you see like darker spots.
Yeah.
It was on, let's see, 18 count canvas, eggshell with gold. Yeah. And so I also used Neon Rays, which is Neon Rays a silk?
It's a nylon light. It's almost a nylon type. I hated it.
It
I did
so
not like stitching with it at all. I got it done, but I didn't like it.
Yeah, so the neon race is in the middle here.
Yeah.
And so it looks awesome once you do it.
Yeah.
Is it hard?
It's a bear. It's a bear. I suppose I would be willing to try it again, you know, but it was difficult.
So sorry about that. If you saw a little cut where we sort of jumped screen, my cat started screaming and wanted to get let out of the room. So ran away to go do that real quick.
Well, I turned away and was watching somebody walk across the neighbor's yard over there, so I guess I should have been paying attention too. But you're back. She's back.
So it also included Karen collection, impressions, and watercolors. And so those, I believe, were partially, I want to say, was it satin?
No, I think they've got silk in them.
Maybe silk. I don't know. They were different. They were so soft, and they laid really easy. I almost didn't need to use my needle layer as much with those. Mm-hmm. But with the neon rays, if you didn't have a needle layer, there was no way you were going to get that to look right.
Right. That's right.
Yeah. So this is
stitch layer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
this was really fun. I am so glad that it's finally finished. Mm-hmm. I could give Karen back her stretcher bars. So Karen, watch out, they're coming back your way. But yeah, it was nice to work on canvas again, to actually get this all laid. And
so what do you think you're going to do? Finish it as an ornament, or what do you think you're going to plan for it?
Yeah, I think an ornament. I haven't finished anything on canvas yet. Like finished. So I have no idea how to do that, what to do. So I'm sure I'll reach out.
Call that lady, call Diane. Ask her. She helped me with mine.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, yeah, I got to finish.
Yeah, very good. Hip, hip, hooray.
But then I also got another finish, which last week I showed my frenzy of fringes. And so I had just the border done. And so this is once again an EGA course, the group correspondence course, which is being led by one of our guild members, Jeanette. And I believe last week I was telling you that I was struggling through the border, and I had either just finished it or was just getting really close to finish.
You were just getting close. Yeah.
So I finished it right after our call, and then I right into the beading, and then this week, last night, I finished it, the entire thing. It's supposed to be done by the end of August and sent out to the teachers for her to review and look at it. And I'm already done. So that
and you're just gin and cotton, Fawn. You're gin and cotton.
So crazy to me. And so one thing that I changed, so you can see in these fringes, it's all different colors. There's a lot of specialty beads in here, but there's also a ton, and I mean like thousands upon thousands of seed beads. And so for the seed beads, I decided I was going to do mostly a green sort of design. And so Annette helped me pick out the greens that I was going to use, but I kept the specialty color beads. Mm-hmm. So I have a whole bunch of pops of color, but mostly green. So
it turned out beautifully, kiddo.
So from far away, it looks very cool.
Yeah. Up close, it's even cooler.
And so you can see they move, which is just like so fascinating.
Couldn't you just see that one at the top with the beads hanging down, the ones with the green with the dark beads that are dangling? Mm-hmm. Oh, that would make a neat pin, or you could just see that on a flapper's dress from the 1920s where she would have had it going all down. My grandmother had a dress that did that. It's no longer in the family, I don't think, but that is just so stunning.
Yeah, and then this one reminds me of an earring and necklace set, like this one was really fun to do. Just to get, you had to thread, you would do row by row across, and then you have to thread all the way back up to the top, and then work your way back down to add the next row. And so by the time you're done, it's so hard to get through this top bead.
I bet. My goodness. Well, I like that you added the little bit of pink. I'm assuming that's pink beads there.
Yeah, supposed to be pink little flowers.
Okay, I like that.
And so this, I changed a few things in here. So the flower was supposed to just have, I think, 5 beads all the way around. And you can't really see it on here. I'll post to Instagram so you can see clips of all of these. But I added a bunch of seed beads on the inside, and I added some bigger beads on the outside so it looks fluffier. And then another thing I changed, this top row is meant to be straight across the scallop. But I kind of liked that to make it hang down so it was consistent with the rest of the scalloping.
That looks like a beautiful necklace too.
Oh
yeah.
And then so these are some hearts. It might be hard to see. This one is really cool. It's just a couple loops like this one, where it's just a general loop, but you take the loop next to it and you put it through so that way it sort of makes a little bit of a twist.
Yeah.
And so it's so simple once you look to do it, but looking at it here, you're like, oh, I could never do that.
Right.
These ones were such a pain. There's 540 beads in this exact square. And so it's just one little loop on the bottom and then one loop on the top, but you just have to do it over and over and over again. It's like 16 beads per top loop and maybe 18 beads for bottom loop. And oh my goodness, by the time I counted 18, like 18 different times, I didn't want to count to 18 anymore.
Oh my. Well, now the whole point of this, I'm saying for their benefit too, is to learn how to do beading to finish up some projects or something in a different way besides always using cord or ribbon or something like that. So that's why you've got so many wonderful techniques. Think about some of your pieces if they had these added to it or on the trim.
I
like this one. This looks like a little bracelet foam. The one with the little purple up here underneath that looks like a little bracelet almost.
Absolutely. And then this, I imagine along the bottom of a pillow. So this looks like it's like stitched on the side, but it dangles a bit here. But if you put this across the bottom of a pillow or a small finish, then like stitch the bottom down, and that could make whatever you're doing look so fancy. It wasn't really that hard because it's just a straight line of beads down and a straight line of beads up, but you go into the middle here and then it makes the triangle, and then you go into the top and it makes a triangle. And so it's just 2 straight beads, but by meeting in the middle of the first row and the middle when you come back down, that's a terrible explanation, but when you sort of meet in the middle, you can pull it to get this design, and it's really not as complicated as it looks because it's just a bunch of straight beading that you match in the center. So yeah, I've finished this way early.
You sure have. You sure have.
And I think in 2 more weeks, we're going to have a meeting to go over the first 12 fringes if you have any questions. And I guess I'll be able to answer some questions.
Probably so, to help other people figure out what they might need to do. Well, you got that new stand and you've just gone hog wild. Woo! Woo!
Yeah, easy. So I'll mention that here now. I was able to get a case creation stand. I posted about this in our Needle Arts group, and thankfully Denise from Timeless Stitches, in Tecumseh, he had a stand that I bought from her, and so we drove up in the pouring rain and like splashed through puddles, and because it was in Michigan, and so I don't know, you might know that Michigan had the dams break, and so it was the day that the dams broke, and her store is not near there, but we were still in all of that rain that made the dams break.
Yes.
And so it was kind of funny. We were driving past all these farm fields because that's Michigan, and it was like, instead of, usually we'll say, oh, and here's a farm, and on this side's a farm, and instead it was, and here's a lake, and on this side is another lake. But yeah, so we got to walk around her store. My husband got me a couple other things, which I'll show. but I have the Case Creation stainless steel stand, and I'm obsessed.
I wanted to ask you about that. Will it work with Q snaps too, or just with so hoops, Q snaps, and stretcher bars and scroll bars as well?
Yeah, I think that it will work with all of them. It definitely stretcher bars and a hoop. And a Q-snap is pretty much just as big as a stretcher bar. So the clamp that it has on it, I think it can go to like this wide.
Yeah, okay.
And so maybe this deep. So it's really, I thought about showing it, but it's just kind of really unwieldy to show in the video. But if you Google it, just a Case Creation stainless steel stand. I wanted to get a Lowry stand, but those seem to be impossible. And I'm actually really happy that I have the Case Creation instead, because it comes with, and maybe a Lowry has this, but I know the Case, it has this access where you can turn it at any direction. And it also has a little wooden block on the side for holding your scissors and threads and needles and whatever else you want to attach to it. And I know for the Lowry, when you buy that, it's just the clamp and the stand, and you can add stuff, but they're so expensive to begin with, and then you're adding. So I like that the Case Creation already had it all together. You didn't have to buy extra parts for it.
I actually have 2 K Creation stands here at home. One's really large. I've got it here in the living room. It holds a lot of needlework. And I think I have an attachment that I could use on it for doing a hoop. But I also have one that's a smaller one that's a lap one. But I've not used it much because the hoops have, I mean, my stretcher bars have to be a certain length to use with that one. And that piece is in the front closet waiting to be tackled again.
Are both of your stands the wood ones?
Yes, yes, yeah. All of my stands are wooden, pretty much. I've got one that a good friend's daddy made for somebody years ago, and that was my first stand, and it's a big one that holds a large piece of needlework. And then I've got another one that I've used for the last couple of summers out on the porch. The only thing is I can't hold a Q-snap in any of these because of the plastic in the Q-snap. It just will not grip and hold. Even in my little, I've got a couple of little ones you sit on, and I can't get it to hold in that. So when I'm working on that piece for Lane, I just hold it in my, in the chair, and I can stitch all right that way.
Does it not grip because it's too slick, or is there just not enough?
Yeah, it's too slick. The Q-snap is too slick because
I wonder if you put on the outside.
I tried. I did.
Yeah, it's like that rubber matting that you can use as like a shelf saver. Yeah. I think Steph from Just Keep Stitching, she puts them on the inside of her Q-snap to make the Q-snap not move. But I wonder if you put that on the outside of your Q-snap and then put it.
I'll try that, because I did try something like some a piece of well, I'll think of the word in a minute. Oh well, I thought I would. Never mind. It wasn't wood. It wasn't fabric. It was paper towel. Even I thought that might help. Just had a piece of paper towel handy, and it wouldn't catch. Even it wouldn't stay caught. Let's put it that way. It just would not stay. But I'll try that idea you've got there. That might work. And I've got that. Yeah.
But they're thin and grippy. I've seen them at the dollar store before.
Oh yeah. I've got one that I use sometimes to open up a bottle or something too. You can twist. So all I need is for it to hold the one piece. Yeah, so exactly. I'll give that a try. Thank you. That's a good idea.
Look, I can help too. It's not just Marianne.
I know. She's a good helper.
Did you say you had a finish?
I do. The Flamingos. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Oh my goodness. You've been working on this flamingo for so long.
Years. We don't even know how many years.
Oh,
well, it's one of those pick up and put down. I got the stitching in down here at the bottom.
Yeah, I like
across here. Let me hold it up. Right across there, you can see that's to look like the water. Yeah, so that's finished. I used pearl cotton for that.
It really well.
Well, thank you. Joe decided well, since they look like they're in a lagoon or something of that sort, that palm trees would not be appropriate. So I don't have to put palm trees on them.
No.
So,
Are you set? Did you want to do the palm trees?
no, he wanted the palm trees. I was doing this for him, and he really liked the idea of palm trees. And then when he saw that I was finished otherwise, and he said, oh, well, if you were doing palm trees, they would need to be in sand or something. I said, yeah, like up on a beach, and this is not a beach. There, he could see it better once I started using this thicker thread too, because the pearl cotton is a little bit thicker. You still use just the one strand, but it's a little thicker than just a regular floss. And he said, oh, well, that looks good. So yes, so he gave me permission to stop. Yeah, like he could be. Yeah. Don't tell him I said that.
So does he have a project picked out for you?
No, I get to pick those out now. No, I don't. This is going to go, we need to get it framed. And he said, well, we also have a lot of other things we need framing, you know, pictures that we, artwork and such. I said, well, this has got to be framed differently. We can't just take it to somebody that's used to doing artwork versus stitching. So it'll either mean a trip down to Findlay or maybe over to Maria's house. I haven't called her yet. I need to call Maria.
Yeah, I just talked to her and she said she has, she got a fancy saw for cutting the frames.
She has everything, yes.
It's all.
Yes. So I thought I'd give her a call and promise I'd wear my mask. And since she's quarantined and we've quarantined, I think we would be safe. So I'm going to give her a holler and see if I might be able to bring this over there. And she can help.
Get to see her puppy, so it's definitely worth it.
Oh, yeah. Get to see Riley. That's a trip in and of itself. So, yeah.
Would you like to share what you got this week, your new stuff?
Oh, yes. Oh, God. Talk about stash or haul. I think that's the phrase people like to use. I told y'all, I think last time I had put an order into 123 Stitch. Well, it came the next day. And then one of the other pieces came the day after that. So first off, I had admired this piece on our friend Denise Waterfield's thing, The Home of a Needleworker. So I let her know I was getting that, and that's by Little House Needleworks. I also got this December calendar girl, since I'm a December person, Little House Needleworks. Then I decided that night when I was sitting there that my niece, I told you our niece Carrie really liked my Jack Frost thing, so I was going to get her one. Well, I got the whole kit and caboodle. Here's the first one. Here's the second one. And these are all by Little House Needleworks. So it's Jack Frost Tree Farm. And the first one is just Jack Frost, and the second one is Douglas Fir. The third one is the Family Fun, which this is going to go to Carrie.
And that's the one
That's the one I've already stitched, but y'all saw that. It's finished in the sense it's done with the stitching. It just needs to be finished. Then this is number 4, which is a balsam fir. I love that little red truck there, isn't that cute?
Definitely.
Yeah. Then number 5, believe it or not, is just hot cocoa. I was looking, I thought, wait a minute, where's number 5? Well, it's called hot cocoa. It says milk, vanilla, sugar, chocolate. So that's what makes a good hot cocoa. But that's actually the number 5 in the group.
And some whipped cream.
Yes, and whipped cream would be good. And then number 6 is fresh pines. And then they've got the sleigh with the tree on it.
I like that.
And number 7 is cookies, because it's his farm. They also sell cookies to you.
As you should.
Yeah, so I got those. And then I didn't realize, Pam and Steph are good buddies with the twins that do Twin Peak Primitives. And when I saw this one, and it's called Stitcher's Friendship, I did not realize at first until I got it that, oh yeah, I picked out one of the Twin Peaks Primitives. So there you go.
That's a cute one.
Stitcher's Friends. I like that.
Are they
And
standing on spools
I'm
of thread?
sorry.
Are they standing on spools of thread?
Yes, they are. Isn't that cute? With a looks like a plant stand between them.
Mm-hmm.
Which I've got my iPad up on a plant stand here. But we don't use it as a plant stand because it's a little wobbly. It's old. It's from our friend Jane Ely's home. She passed away some years ago, but I would assume this is close to being an antique, if not one already. And then I got my Blackbird Designs, the Loose Feathers Summer.
Ooh, look at those strawberries.
Aren't they pretty? Autumn.
Oh, I like that one the most.
That's pretty too. It's got the house and all in it, and the pumpkins. And then winter.
Nice.
Now Joe asked me, "Where's fall?" Or spring. I said they didn't do spring. They did summer, winter, summer, autumn, winter, and what it's supposed to be. You can do it as a full sampler, where you do all three of them you do them and stitch it all in one piece, or do each one and then sew it together. But I think I'm going to do them as individuals. And then each booklet comes with like another piece you can do. That's I'm not supposed to show the pattern. Won't show the pattern. Let's see. Don't show the pattern. Don't show the pattern. Here's a drum you can make.
Oh, so it's an extra.
Yeah, it's an extra one. In the summer one, the extra on the back is nice. It's a flower and the partridge.
That one's cute.
So they went outside their blackbirds, and then on the autumn you've got a little pin cushion you could do.
Mm-hmm.
Pumpkin blossom pin cushion and a pumpkin blossom sewing box.
Nice. That's exciting that you get more than just the one
Yeah.
chart.
Yeah, so that makes it fun. And then I still have to get fabric and floss. So I figured I would make a couple of trips down south to Findlay, up north to Michigan to Tecumseh. But something else I wanted to tell people about that I subscribe to. It's called The World's Most Beautiful Needlework Inspirations magazine. It's produced in Australia. You can get a digital subscription, or you can pay to have this thing delivered to your home. And
Wow.
This one came this past week. So
That's
see,
needle painting for sure.
it is just, it's wonderful. It's about $20-something an issue, and you get, I think, 6 a year. But inside, they have all kinds of needlework. Like here's a little stump work piece, and the instructions are in here. The pattern is in here. Something that I was enjoying looking through. I haven't read through the whole thing yet, but I mentioned I showed y'all some hardanger the first time. Well, here's a piece of hardanger that someone has done. Can you see that?
Yeah, it almost looks like a doily of sorts, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because you can do that with it. It's probably, let's see, this is probably like a placemat, or it could be a doily. But what's nice about it is see, here it is used under the, there you go. Can you see it under the vase?
Yeah, I like that a lot. I'd be so worried it was dirty.
Here are instructions for doing some of the stitches.
Wow, that looks so detailed.
They're fun to do. They're fun to do. This dove's eye stitch is the one that gets me every time. But I was looking, I said, oh great, bigger pictures even of what I need to do some of the stitching. But this is issue number 106. I've got now several, 1, 2, 3, about you know, have maybe a dozen of these now. And they are just, it's just like walking into a museum of artwork.
Oh.
And it's newer stuff too. It's not just the old fashioned things you're thinking of. Here's the one that's on the front cover. Isn't that
Wow.
beautiful?
Hold it down a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Wow.
Isn't that pretty? That's on the front cover, and that is done. It's layering. They're talking about the 3 layers of stitching and how you do work with that. So, I mean, that's the finished piece there.
Wow. They framed that so nice too.
They framed it.
Away from it at all.
Yeah. And then I think they also give you maybe they give you the recipe for the pomegranate drink.
It's a must-have. You have to drink that and stitch.
Of course. But I don't normally, you know, talk about something like that because I know a lot of people love Cross Stitch magazine, and that for cross stitchers, that is one of the ones. But this has all kinds of needlework. That's what fascinates me about it. It doesn't have just one kind, it has all kinds, and it's just a work of art in and of itself.
Well, I think I have to stop by and borrow your oldest one just so I can do it before I undoubtedly go and buy it.
Right. Because like here in the back, they actually have the patterns too that you can use to take them out and put them up on the window so you can put your fabric over them and trace them if you need to.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So that's how you do that. So that's my haul for the week.
Wow, you got a lot.
Yeah. That was, you know, some of my stimulus check. New tires for the car 3 weeks ago, you know, or a month ago, and then, you know, stash.
Yep.
So.
I get it. I did want to mention, if you're watching our video this Memorial Day weekend, Joann's Fabric does have floss for, I believe, 40 cents a piece. So in their ad, they say too low to say, but it's, I believe it's 40 cents. So if you feel like wearing a mask and going into Joann's, you could kit your stuff up for really cheap, which is actually what I did with my haul. But I wouldn't recommend going this weekend and getting like any sort of fabric from them, because when we went in, there was a line almost around the store of people waiting to get their fabric cut. And I was like, oh my goodness, everybody needs to quilt right now.
Right.
And so I thought the floss section was going to be overrun. It was like 40 cents a piece. Like everybody's going to be there. I'm going to be elbowing for my floss. Nope. It was just my husband and I. We had 4 or 5 pages of GMC numbers that we were counting through, and so we're just like going in a row and nobody bothered us. It was great.
Good. That's wonderful.
So when we were at Timeless Stitches, the stitch shop in Tecumseh, my husband got me a couple things, and I was just so excited because he knows me so well. My favorite flower is a pansy, and so he got me this Mill Hill Spring Bouquet collection, and so it's a magnet.
Oh, cool.
And it comes with everything. The needles, there's an extra little bee charm in here, which is kind of see-through, so you might not be able to see it. All the little beads, which apparently I'm pretty good at beading now from my fringe project. But yeah, so this will be really fun and a simple thing to work on. I need to find a way to hold the have you ever stitched on perforated paper before?
No.
It's different because you can't put it in a hoop. It's just about the size of this. And so
I've got some projects that are perforated paper. I just haven't done them yet.
Yeah. And it starts to bend on you because you're always holding it sort of with one thumb, and eventually I started putting like a tissue on my hand so that I wouldn't keep rubbing on stitches. But it's different stitching on paper when you're so used to a hoop and now a stand. And but this will be nice because if we go camping, I can bring this little thing along and not have to bring a whole hoop or anything. So that'll be fun.
Yes.
And then I also love the Just Non collections. And so did I show my little mouse on here that I finished?
I
Or
don't
not?
think so. I don't recall seeing the mouse.
Week. So I finished a Just Non mouse,
Mhm.
and it's really cute and small, but there's the stitches on it are so intricate. They're just cross stitches, but because the project's so small and once you finish it, it's adorable. So anyway, I finished my mouse, became obsessed with Just Non. And so this is the Witchy Pumpkin Cottage. And so it's a pin cushion.
Oh, cool.
And so there's a bunch of different sides to it.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a mouse. And
Okay.
so there's 3 different mice that you can get. I don't think I stitched this exact one because mine has a purple
Oh,
hat.
okay. Okay.
But I'll end up putting the mouse right on top of these. And so it comes with the beads that you need. There is, I believe, a little cat bead that you can put on. And so these stitch up really quickly because they are so small, but the colors are really fun. And so this will be on a 32 count Weeks Dye Works pumpkin linen. So that'll also be fun to stitch on something like a pumpkin color. I guarantee I'll start this in the fall.
Very good. Very good.
Then the last thing he got me was the Just Non Ghoultown Gala. And I have never seen this pattern before. I had already gone through on 123 Stitch and looked at every Just Non product that they had and put it into my wish list. And they didn't have this one. So I am so excited. And it is an 8-point star.
Oh, wow.
And so you'll have to get some sort of beads to make a pin cushion or a pin for the very top if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
But that looks so cool. And before I looked at the directions, I was like, how am I going to stitch this? How am I going to make it? And it ends up being a bunch of different squares that you stitch, and then you end up sort of pinching them together.
Oh, okay.
But the other one, this comes with a couple of charms, some beads. And so once you get it done, it really pops with the different colors and having a little bit of beading on there. So I thought that was so different.
Is that going to be a new play toy for Wally?
Oh, I hope not. All those stitches, it would be my luck that he would steal it.
Looks like something Fritzy would like.
And then, so I think I mentioned earlier that I got the stand. And so when I saw Maria the other day, she gave me a magnifier, which I'm not going to hold that near my face because you don't need to see that magnified. But
I have one. Yeah, I have one of those.
And so if I stitch it during the daylight on my Zodiac sampler with the magnifying glass with some white underneath, it should go great. So
Yeah.
Thanks for this. I really appreciate it.
That's a neat one too, Fawn. I've had that one for years. So it's a nice one. It's sturdy and stuff. And I use it with my frame in here.
It feels really like.
Yeah, it weighs a ton. It weighs a ton.
So then the last thing that I have for this week, which I am so excited about, it is a Heaven and Earth design. And so I got this a couple months ago. I knew that I wanted it almost a year before that. And it is the Shell Maiden Max colors, because I figured if I'm going to do a Heaven and Earth design and I'm going to stitch 30 by 30 inches, I'm going to go all out and do all the colors. And so this is 625 by 625 stitches. So you can just imagine it's huge. And it contains 239 colors.
Oh,
so like I said that I went to Joann's and used their floss discount sale. I was waiting for a Heaven and Earth design to use. And so this is be the Shell Maiden.
Oh, wow.
So this is going to take me years. And forever, because I'm sure I'm going to get really frustrated of switching colors all the time, as is the nature with Heaven and Earth designs, and just like be tired because I'm going to start in this corner, so I'm sure I'm going to be done with the peaches and just want to look at it no more. But it'll be fun to just go back and forth too and pick it up and do a 10 by 10 block whenever I feel like it. So don't look for this to be finished anytime soon. But Maria, she also, in addition to the magnifying glass, she gave me some fabric, and I'm so grateful. This is a 28 count. The pattern calls for 25, but switching to 28 really just makes it maybe an inch smaller all the way around. It's not a big deal. And you're stitching over one, so you can still, at least I can still see the 28 count okay, but if not, I have my magnifier. And so this is tea dyed, and she gave me a whole yard. Wow. And it was from Connie's Corner Stitchery, which I don't know if that's still open. I know Maria has a stash from her and a friend from way back when. So, but this will be the color, and you won't be able to see it since it's a full coverage piece, but yeah. I think at least some of the peachy colors should pop pretty well against it.
Yep, that'll be pretty.
Yeah, so thanks to Maria. Seriously, thank you. I have enough fabric to do, they have an earth design. I also have enough fabric to do whatever other projects that we need to do. And so then for the floss, so you look at that chart and you're like, oh, that's going to be pretty. There's so many colors. And then you actually pick up the colors and you're like, oh my gosh, like there's so many, the colors, they pop, and you didn't, at least for me, I didn't realize just how beautiful it was gonna be until I saw the colors in person. And so I filled an entire gallon bag. I'm missing 3 colors, but here is 236 skeins of floss. Some of those will be used a couple times.
Yeah.
But like just those, to me, those colors, yeah, all sorts of different blues, some pinks and yellows and purple. And I mean, when I looked at the pattern, I didn't really even see that much purple, but there's a bunch of purple in it. And it's just, I'm so excited.
That's going to be beautiful, hon. That really is.
Especially getting that floss on the discount.
Yep.
Saves so much. So if you're ever going to do have an earth design or a really big project, I do recommend waiting until you can get the floss on sale, because just that 16 cents off, it really does make a difference. So now we have it all, and some of those colors you only use like 0.09 of a skein for the whole project. So at least now if Sean and I ever see a design that we want, we've probably got the color. So yeah, I'm so excited, and I feel like everyone has been so generous to me lately, and I hope that I'm as generous to everyone else. And so thank you for the people that helped me this week to get my stand, because so many people commented to help in our guild, and to Maria for the fabric and the magnifier, and just
it's a good bunch. It's a good bunch. And needle workers, I think people that are interested in needlework are all good people, and they try to help. You know, they can give you suggestions for how something might work. They've got extras of something, they'll share. Yep. That's always a nice thing.
Yeah, so let me know if you need any colors, Marianne. If you're
need
a couple inches.
Thank you. You might want to get some little baggies and put like all your 200s in that, and then all your 300s in another one at least, so that you aren't digging through the whole bag every time. That's a suggestion.
Yeah.
You may not want to sit there and roll them onto a bobbin or anything, but at least I've got baggies full of like, oh, here's my 300s, here's my 400s. I also have just some of them stuck somewhere in a box too. So
yeah, that's a great idea. I figure since it's so sunny out, either today or tomorrow, I'm gonna lay all these out on the fabric so we can really see like,
that'll be cool.
There's stuff in the middle here where you can't even see how colorful it is. So I'm excited to see what it really looks like, and oh my goodness, that'll be an Instagram photo for sure.
Oh sure, definitely. And you need to put one up of your you did of your frame, I believe.
Yeah, I
put your frame.
Yeah, to our guild, the beads, but I'll definitely put them on.
Okay.
Instagram. But I want to share.
I have left to show is vintage. I do have a little vintage besides me. Today, I'm wearing my red in honor of Memorial Day tomorrow. But here are the last 2 that I'm going to show. Now, Jill's going to say you didn't have that one attached well enough. I just wanted to show the colors in these. how it's bright they still are, because some of these towels were used.
Wow.
This one I especially like. This one's a thicker linen, and I was looking more closely. Can you see that okay?
Yep.
And then this one on top. This was kind of an interesting little design with the flowers going out to the side. Maybe it's for the way it was, maybe it was supposed to just hang from a thing and do like that. I don't know.
Interesting.
But what I was trying to figure out what they've done, and down at the bottom here, what they've done with the stitching is it makes it look like a pulled stitch, but they've actually gone like taken the thread and gone under some of the linen.
Oh, okay.
Then come back out again. So it gives it a different sort of hem.
Oh, what is that called? Doesn't Marilyn do that kind of stitching? Is it huck embroidery?
It could be. I'll have to ask Marilyn because it's very similar to something like that. It looks like they're really, I think, trying to do a pulled stitch, but actually they're just doing under Marilyn does the huck embroidery.
Yeah,
so
because I
this
know
is something similar.
that huck embroidery looks really complicated.
Yeah.
You're just going under and over threads.
Right. And that's what's happening here too. And that's how they did the edging then. So that's the vintage. They're not antique yet. Huh?
Do you know what kind of stitch the bottom flowers were? They kind of looked like a wagon stitch.
Well, these are all a satin stitch of sorts. This is where they probably, here it looks like, let me see. This would almost be like your bullion kind of, they've gone and made a circle around.
Oh. That's brave. They're
but I really think found that they are basically a satin stitch.
Okay.
Just a lot of satin stitch. This is a stem stitch here. They've done the stem stitching here. This could either be like a bullion, but I'm thinking it's a satin stitch that they padded underneath.
They look so much more complicated than a satin stitch. They look really fancy.
Yeah, I know. Well, part of them being that way is when you're doing a satin stitch, what I learned from the Royal School of Needlework is you pad under it. You do stitching that goes underneath, back and forth, that you're padding. And then when you put your satin stitch over it, it stands out. So, but then too, it could be like a bullion, like we learned with those, our Walking the Water's Edge, that they could have done it more circular then. I'm not sure. I'll have to bring it sometime and have Karen analyze it.
Oh yeah, Karen will know for sure.
Yeah. But this is definitely stem stitch along here, and then a little petal type, a little stitching for the leaves. No, they're pretty. I like this one especially. I love the colors in it. I like the purple and the pinks and the yellows. And y'all can see I like yellow. My living room is the color is not periwinkle. No, it's not periwinkle. I never can remember what color our paint is, but it's been up here for a while. But it's in the South, a lot of times you'll have yellow in the living rooms. Our ceiling actually is white, but we have a lighter yellow up in the soft. Not that anybody cares about that, but anyway. And white trim, always white trim.
To find out what DMC number it matches.
Heaven only knows. This is true. So I don't have anything else other than to wish everybody a happy spring here. The spring is finally springing up here a lot. And the humidity's coming.
It feels like summer today, actually.
Right.
It's so warm out there.
Yes, it's going to get warmer. Here in Northwest Ohio, we're going to hit the 80s. Look out. I'm ready to go back to the 70s.
Yeah, we put our air on today so that when I recorded this, I wasn't like sweating to death and just panting for this window.
We've got the porch open, so humidity's coming in, but Fritzy's happy. I mentioned last week, I think we're calling it Fort Fritz, but Joe said, no, it's Fort Fritzy. I said, okay, so I need to correct that, y'all. It's Fort Fritzy now on the porch, and the kitchen is Earthaland. So there you go. Yeah, and the dogs get the rest of the place. So
I get that. All right, so we don't have anything else for you. I have no idea if this was a long or short video. I feel like we covered a lot.
it was a little longer than we sometimes do, but there's talking at the first part. So we're probably right around our hour, right around an hour.
We'll cut a little bit out in the center where my cat had to fit, but that's fine. Anyway, so have a wonderful weekend, whether this posted on Sunday, and if it posted on Monday, then have a wonderful week. We will see you Sunday/Monday, and we hope you have a fantastic time stitching. Bye.
Bye.